Remember, former President George W. Bush used to refer to the axis of evil. If you watch the show regularly, you know I've been talking about the new axis of evil. That would be China, Russia, Iran. Probably you can add North Korea to the list. And today we are seeing those same dark forces rally behind the terror group Hamas, and Iran's supreme leader offering his full support of their brutality and blaming Israel for the attacks. North Korea echoing these same sentiments, attacking what it called Israel's ceaseless criminal actions. Here with reaction, Fox News contributor General Keith Kellogg, Texas Congressman Dan Crenshaw. General, let's start with you. This is evil in our time, but yet in a backwards world that we live in, you know, up is down, down is up. And everybody, we have this whole group of people that want to blame the victim here. The victim would be Israel and the people of Israel. Why are they supporting the terrorists? Can you explain that? And what should the consequences be?
Well, it's kind of hard to explain. Thanks, Sean, for having me tonight, because there's a moral imperative here that they've missed. And the moral imperative is how you treat other human beings. And we learned that lesson in 1945, and we said never again. And what you saw this last weekend was a repeat of what we saw in 1945. And the actors involved in this all should be punished, and they should be put on notice. You know, when you look at Hamas, the Israelis are going to take down Hamas structure. We know that. But all of the leaders involved should be targeted as well. And they need to go after those leaders and send a very, very clear message to everybody. The world needs to keep reminding themselves what horror looks like. And I think what you did earlier in the show, when you showed those pictures, that's exactly what the world needs to see, because they need to understand the horror that everybody faces when you look at somebody like Hamas, the terrorism they bring, and same thing with Hezbollah to the north. And it's just something they need to be reminded of all the time. And they do blame the victim. And it's fun. I will tell you, Sean, what you're going to see in the next couple of weeks, people are going to show a lot of visuals of what's happening there in Gaza. And they should remember the Israelis didn't start this. This was an attack into Israel from Gaza, and they're responding in kind. And we should give them our full support, 100%, whatever they need to finish that job.
Congressman, do you want to weigh in on this? Because I have a hard time with people that just can't recognize, you know, the simple moral clarity here is one country is a victim and one group of people are terrorists. And there are so many sympathizers with the terrorists. I'm having a hard time dealing with that.
Yeah, well, look, there's a bunch of categories here. So you've got our crazy left wing in the United States that views everything through the lens of victim and oppressor. And they've long convinced themselves that Israel's an oppressor and that Palestinians are victims for them to defend. And of course, that's BS. And then you have all these countries that are aligning. Now, this is really important to remind people. There's a reason that we go support our allies and that we exert American strength and leadership abroad. Because you have an axis of countries, right? Iran wants to control the Middle East. Russia wants to control Europe. China wants to invade Taiwan, control Asia. North Korea wants to control South Korea. What do they all have in common? Territorial conquest. If America removes itself, then those countries fill the vacuum. It's not about support. You might not like Israelis. You might not like Ukrainians, whatever it is. It's not actually about them. It's about us. It's about your children growing up in a world that is not run by China and North Korea and Iran and Russia. You're not going to like that world. And we have to teach our students. I mean, I saw protests at universities these last couple of days where left-wingers are supporting Palestinian movements and Hamas. They just murdered 40 babies. They beheaded 40 babies. I hope this is a message to the world that there is no moral equivalence here, that Israel is indeed the right side of history here. You would hope that's the case.
Well, I'd also hope it's the case that our president have the same moral clarity, but the president never once mentioned Iran, the #1 state sponsor of terror, and he wants to give him $6 billion and is not rescinding that money. Insanity to me. General, good to see you. Thank you. And